Hey, Tony Gaskins here. A little deviation from what I've been doing this week on Grown Boy University. Now, y'all know I try to really be in the moment, have my finger on the pulse of my business and what's going on. And got a couple videos in me today. Not gonna be too long, but this first one I want to get shot today. I want you to understand something, because a lot of times I see people, want to be successful. Everybody want to make it. Everybody wants to own their own company or be able to feed themselves, provide for themselves using their gifts, even in addition to their corporate job. But I want you to understand something. When you try to take shortcuts, you're only cheating yourself. You're only cheating you. So when you take and you go and you buy something, you buy a course or you buy a book, it's people that'll buy a book on Amazon, a self-help book, and then ask for a refund after they're done reading the book, telling Amazon they didn't like it, or it didn't download smoothly enough, or they're gonna send it back because they ain't like how the page was curled, and to get that information for free. It's people who will buy a course and then call their bank because they need some money and say, hey, that charge was fraudulent. I didn't make that charge. When they know that they got on the phone or on the computer, went to the site and made the charge for the course, got the information, and then tried to say, I didn't make that charge. Then you have people who count the investment in themselves. Now, I got an interesting email, and it's so but see, this how I know the difference, and this how I study mindsets. So I got one email from a guy who took and stole my life coach certification course. He stole the course to get the knowledge to go start his business. I got another email from a person who said, I can't invest anymore into myself until I make back the money that I've already invested in myself by taking this particular course. Then I got another email from a person who said, Tony, the course that you given on Grown Boy University, you ought to make that a real course for $100 or more. And here's some video topics for that course. It's so sad that people want everything for free and that they won't even join the Blessed Tribe for $1.99. And then they come to the live and ask the same questions every week and want a whole coaching session for $4.99. It is sickening and it's so sad. Got that email. Then got another email from a person who took the life coach certification course, and then for the life coaches, for the people who've signed up for the life coach course, I just released another course, the personal brand course, but it's only for the coaches right now at a special rate because they've already made the investment for the life coach certification course. It was a young lady who just bought the life coach certification course, haven't yesterday or today, haven't even had the time to go through the course and bought the other course. And see, this is the different types of people that you see, and this is why you see certain people successful and certain people unsuccessful. See, when I spent $1,600 to publish my first book, it was my wife, but we was together, so it's mine too, and it's all coming back to the same household, same family. I didn't say I just spent $1,600. I got to make $1,600 before I go to a seminar or I go to a course. We didn't even have furniture in our living room at that time. We didn't have luxury cars. We lived in a neighborhood that wasn't secure. I got robbed in that neighborhood. My car was stolen out of the apartment parking lot. My car was stolen. And we made that investment. And I remember us eating noodles. We'll fry ramen noodles in the pan. My wife would fry ramen noodles in the pan to give it like we in there on a walk. Like we in the lo mein. And I remember us having to eat off the dollar menu. You having $2, you get, okay, $1 chicken sandwich for you, $1 chicken sandwich for you. I remember that. I remember us getting Social Security for my son because he was born early. And that Social Security check really paid our rent. I remember getting food stamps as a young couple. I remember getting WIC as a young couple. And I remember all of that. But I never said I'm going to stop investing in myself until I recoup my investment. Because that's a limited mindset. That's a scarcity mindset. It's people who done spent millions on themselves and ain't even made 100,000. That's what investing in you is. What do you think how long you think it take a lawyer who go get an undergrad degree on student loans, then go to law school for 3 years on student loans, and then come out and earn $50,000 a year, and gotta pay taxes out of that $50,000, and gotta live out of that $50,000? How long you think it take that attorney to make their investment back? And do you know how much it costs to go get an undergrad and a law degree? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And especially depending on where you go to. My sister-in-law just finished law school at NYU Law. I know it probably was over $50,000 a year. And she live in New York. She gonna become a lawyer and she gonna be making good money, but New York costs good money. So paying down them loans, it may take 10, 20, 30 years for certain people to pay down their student loans. I've been out of college since 2010. This year I started making lump sum payments, bigger payments to my student loans, but I only have $44,000 in student loans. It's 2020. I'm still paying them student loans. And I never got a college degree. But when I invested in me, see, that's the difference. It's like we will take and invest in an institution, in a traditional education, to go work a job for somebody else who can fire us at any time. But then we'll balk at the idea of spending $25 on a book or an audio book for our own brand, for our own business. Then we'll spend $1 and expect $100 return the next week, the next month. We'll spend $1,000 and expect to be a millionaire in less than 3 years. But now, it was Jim Rohn who said, who I heard say, I don't know who he got it from, who said a formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Now, my formal education, I went to school just like you. Then I went to college for 8 years. Couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, what I wanted to major in. So I'm business management, then I'm criminology, then I'm Africana studies, and I'm psychology. Didn't really know what do I want to do that I'm going to do in the world. And when I looked at them jobs, like in the criminology, in my area, after working 20 years, I probably could have maxed out $70K, $80K, being a black man in the South. Now, some of these police chiefs, they might be touching 110, 120. But I decided to invest in me. And it was $0. I'm making $0. When I spent that $1,600 to publish my book, my first royalty check was $300. The next check was less than that. It probably took me, I just showed a check on the storage the other day from that book that I wrote in 2007 that was $1,100 and some change. And that shocked me. It shocked me because I wrote that book 13 years ago. And that was my largest royalty check. It took 13 years for that book to pay out a royalty of over $1,000. Now, I had other books that I wrote later that I had to invest in myself a second time and a third time. I had books that the royalty check has been over $10,000 in 1 month for 1 month of sales. Now, and then 8,000, 7,000, 6,000, 5,000. So month after month after month, I've had those seasons to where my book royalties was earning me over $6,000 a month, month after month. It was a season. Don't stay like that forever. It'll go down, it'll go up, it'll go down, it'll go up, depending on what's happening with your brand. But I didn't say, hey, I wrote this book. Until I make all the money back from this book, I'm not writing another book. That's a limited mindset. I didn't say, hey, I'm going to take this person's course. I remember paying $900. No, I paid $1,000 for a course. I had $100. Still to this day, I never finished that course. I got through about maybe halfway through the course. I got everything that I needed from the course. Y'all got to forgive me if I hear my doorbell ring. I'm my wife's birthday next Saturday. So I got my little situation open just in case I get I got the sign for it. And so when I took that $1,000 course, this $1,000 course that I took, it was on a brand. It was on your brand story or something like that. And I don't know how far I got, because I never finished the course, but I would imagine I was probably halfway. But I got what I needed from the course. I created something from the course for my brand. I never used it. I paid to trademark it or get the trademark process started. It never finished. The trademark process was $250. So it was $1,250 that this course had me into. But I never used it personally. But I had a client hire me, and the client paid $6,000 for coaching, for half a year of coaching. And what I learned from that course, I utilized that in that coaching, and it revolutionized the coach's brand and their offerings and their services. And then that coach took that $6,000 investment that coach made to work with me and took that inspiration, created a system, and then went on to secure clients that would pay him $7,500 for a single session, that would pay him $4,000 to $5,000 a month, and did coaching for a whole year. Then use that same type of information included in what he does, continue to expand it and create from it to end up getting clients that wanted to invest 7 figures into his brand. Now, when he spent that money, he didn't have it. He wasn't balling out of control. But look what happened because of the mindset. And so the money that I had invested way before I got booked for that coaching gig, that paid off then. The money that I had invested in my book in 2007 when I first published, it didn't pay off until 2012, 5 years later. See, nothing happens overnight. Anything worth having, it's gonna be worth working for. It's gonna be hard work. It's not going to happen overnight. But when you scarcity minded, when you got a limited mindset, when you think that it's you in a casino pulling down a machine, that's the wrong mindset. When you think that you at an ATM with somebody else's bank card and it's full of money, and you could put it in the ATM, use their pen or use your pen and withdraw their money, that's the wrong mindset. See, me becoming an author, then becoming a speaker, then becoming a coach, then putting my brand online, 2007 probably made $500. 2008 could have been $500, $1,000. 2009, I believe, was $36,000. So it went from making nothing to $36,000. 2010 could have been that $36,000. The next time I counted my income, it was $36,000. The next year I counted it, which I don't know if it was next year or the year after, it was $147,000. The next year I counted it, it probably was $253,000. I got all the stuff written down. Now, I'm saying this number like it's nothing, but understand what I just told you. $150,000 in a year working for myself using my natural gifts with no college degree. And I was under the age of 30, earning 6 figures. See, I set a goal to earn 6 figures before 30, and then I invested in myself and I did the work. And I believe maybe it's this Saturday you're going to see a coach that I talked to, that I interviewed, who I watch her invest in herself. Went through a divorce, and I watch her come to several of my events, and I kept seeing the same face. Taking the courses, signing up for one-on-one coaching. And then now I get to see her success as a professional coach through my mentor.life. Been booked countless times and clients booking her over and over and over again. But it all makes sense because I saw her make the investment over and over. See, you can think if your mindset is toxic, that this is about me and this is about my courses. This is about you supporting me. That's not what this is about. This is about your personal success. This is about you shifting your mindset so that you can become successful. This is about you operating with integrity. See, that man course that I spent $1,000 on and I swiped my business debit card, that sent my business account into the negative. I had to pay that money to that bank over time later, just taking my time paying that money. To pay that $1,000 course that sent me into the negative, I spent $300 to be at that conference. At the end of that conference, the conference was 3 days. I went 1 day. See, the way a lot of people operate today, they'll pay $300 for a conference, go 1 day, get what they need, don't need the other 2 days, call their bank and say that $300 charge was fraudulent. Get the $300 back, buy the $1,000 course at the event, call their bank and say that $1,000 charge was fraudulent. And walk off with $1,300 worth of content or value, which really worth way more than that, and think that they're going to be successful in life by scamming other people's small business, by stealing from other people's business. Think that they're going to be successful in life. That's how a lot of people operate today. And then you have people who will invest in themselves to no end and keep investing in themselves. And then when they hit a position, when I got to the point where I earned 7 figures, I remember one time a person asked me, Tony, what does 6 figures mean? It's the amount of figures on money. So 6 figures is 100,000 up to 999,000. $999,999.99. 7 figures is $1 million or more. When I got to the point to where I hit $1 million plus in a year, that was not even it took less than 10 years from the time I started earning money. But what you have to realize is it just kept scaling. And it went up and it went down and then it went up. So I went up 30,000 up to $500,000, back down to a few $100,000, and then up over $1 million. So how you go from 300,000-400,000 and then your next year is over $1 million in earnings, and then it just cycles. You don't know how it's gonna go, when it's gonna go down, when it's gonna go up. But it's you, it's your gifts, it's your brand, it's your investment, and it's bigger than money, because what you're doing for yourself is priceless. But when you go around and you have a limited mindset and you have a scarcity mindset, and you blocking your blessings because you don't really serve God, you don't really believe the word that it say he'll clothe you and feed you like he do the lilies of the field and the fowls of the air. You don't really believe that. You're not really walking by faith. You don't really believe that. But when I look at my life today and I look at what I done been through, I look at what I done lived through, I look at the times of being evicted, I look at the times of lights being cut off, phone being cut off, cars being repossessed, and I look back over that, I don't regret none of it, because I realized I had to make an investment in me. And sometimes I got ahead of myself by buying too much material stuff. But if I just was a good steward over my money, my investment in me was doubling, tripling, quadrupling itself. My investment in me. I just was a bad steward over my funds, but it never was God failing me. It never was my gift failing me. It never was my business failing me. It was me having no financial responsibility, having no real financial literacy failing me. But then what did I do? I went and invested in the time and the money to get that knowledge, to get financial literacy, to learn about credit and the power of credit, to learn about investing, and to learn about saving. And when I learned about those things, now I was able to take and use the hundreds of thousands of dollars I was earning to start creating a better future, to start creating portfolios, to get into real estate investing, to get into stock investing, to get into doubling down on myself and investing even heavier on myself. Like the investment. You ever created a tech project or app? My mentor.life, that's my investment. I got to pay for that. And it's just a shot. It's a shot. It's me investing in me. And that's what I had to do. I ain't have it. I ain't had the money. I ain't had the money to spend. I ain't had the money to flush down the toilet. But I had to take that chance. When you go to TonyGaskinsAcademy.com, that's an investment in me. When you go to GaskinsUniversity.com, Gaskins University, remember I used to have a shirt say self-love you, it's Gaskins University now. GaskinsUniversity.com, that's an investment in me. CharacterUniversity.com, that's an investment in me. And so if you pull up beside me at the light and you see me in something exclusive, you see me in something foreign, understand that I ain't get it with a limited mindset. If you come to my house and it feel plush and nice, understand I didn't get it with a limited mindset. I ain't get it by scamming people. I ain't get it by buying people's stuff and then calling it and lying and saying that was a fraudulent charge. That ain't how I got it. See, when you take shortcuts, you get cut short. You're not cheating the system. You're not cheating the world. You're only cheating yourself. So you got to believe in you. You got to invest in you, and you got to operate with integrity. And that's the sad thing too. What I see, I'm like, man, I created my life coach certification course to build coaches of integrity. And then I have some people who will buy the life coach certification course and then call their bank and lie and say it was a fraudulent charge that they ain't buy it. So it still show me that you still have failures who trying to manipulate success. You still have scam artists who trying to get into an industry and taint the industry, even though you're trying to make it pure. You still have people who scarcity minded, who don't want to go through any trials or tribulations, don't want to go through any pain or any tough times to get to where they got to go, not knowing it ain't no journey that's worth being on that's going to be smooth the whole way through. You're going to have roadblocks. You're going to have detours. You're going to have flat tires. You're going to have hailstorms, windstorms, rainstorms, thunderstorms. You're going to have rocks chipping your paint, cracking your windshield. You're going to have fender benders. You're going to have standstill traffic. You're going to have delays. You're going to have all of that. There's no smooth path to success. You're going to have to go through tough times. You're going to have to experience sacrifice. You may have to go a month or 2 months without cable. You may have to spend some extra money on data so that you could be on the internet a little bit more, researching, taking a course, studying. You may have to have some student loans. You may have to max out a credit card. You may have to pay a little bit of interest to get to where you got to go. It may cost you some interest, but you also could invest in yourself. And the return on your investment going to be way more than the interest you paid to get to where you at. Believe me when I tell you. Believe me when I tell you. Listen, I can't even do the math. Like, I can't even do the math on Tony Gaskins Academy. I can't do the math on what the return on investment is, because it's that crazy. I had a guy evaluate the company. He said, man, I really don't know how to evaluate this because this is a personal brand. So I can't do it like a normal company because it's based on your brand and based on, in my mind, you being here and you selling it. But he was like, one thing I'll tell you, never sell a piece of this. He said, there's no amount of money an investor can give you that'll make sense to buy a percentage of your what you built online, what you created in these online academies. He said it wouldn't make sense. And that's what the guy told him. Professional, certified company evaluator. That's what he told him. And he said, man, if anybody asks, he didn't say it like that because he don't talk like that, but I'm just putting it in my voice. He said, if anybody asks, he said, this right here, what you just had me evaluate, it's worth at least $3 to $5 million. He said, if anybody asks, you got a multi-million-dollar brand, and it's just one thing that you had me evaluate. That was just one thing. But I started from zero. I started at 22 years old with a dream to now have built a multi-million-dollar brand that if I had to sell it, if I had to liquidate, that I could get multi-millions for the assets that I have created. But them assets cost me something. When I created the book, it cost me something. When I had to shut down and just write, that cost me money because I couldn't work on nobody's job or I couldn't do any sessions. When I had to isolate myself so that I could elevate myself. See, I had to isolate myself. See, I took off this month of work in September. I'm not doing coaching sessions this month of September. My coaching produced $10,000 to $15,000 a month. I had to sacrifice this month $10,000 to $15,000 of income so that I could work on me, so that I could invest in me, so that I could create more courses, so that I could center, so that I could come back to square one, so that I could gather myself, inhale, exhale, and just take some time for self-care. See, I had to sacrifice. See, it ain't all about just money. It ain't all about greed. It ain't all about that. It ain't about that at all. It's really about your legacy. It's really about your personal brand. It's really about your contribution to the world. That's really what it's about. See, the money is a byproduct of that. Y'all give me 1 second. The money is a byproduct of that. So when you change your mindset and you don't have a scarcity mindset to where you say, oh, I can't invest in myself anymore until I make all this money back. It might take you 5 years to make that money back. So you'll be sitting on nothing. And I remember having the conversation because I had to stretch my mindset. See, I had to break generational curses. See, I'm doing what my father has never done, what my mother has never done, and definitely, of course, what my grandparents and great-great-grandparents and all that have never done. That ain't everybody's case. I got a business partner who is his grandfather who created the company that provides his lifestyle to the tune of multi-millions of dollars. It's his grandfather that created that. He's still working on what he gonna create for his legacy, for his lineage. He living off of what his grandfather did. See, I want to be that grandfather. And I ain't gonna be it to that in that way. My sons and they kids and they gonna get a little bit from my estate. At the max, you're gonna touch $1 million. At the max, you're gonna touch $1 million, and that's gonna be spread out. Cause I know money without work will destroy you. Money without working for it will destroy you. That's what I know. So everything I got, I spend, I live. You hear me? I got cars, I got watches, I got clothes, I live, I give. They say give 10%. This year I done gave over 20%. I don't just give 10%. I done gave over 20%. You hear me? So I give, I invest, I save. My savings is also investments. I invest my savings. You see what I'm saying? So that it can be multiplying like the talents in the Bible. I'm not just burying it under the ground. No, I'm investing it. I'm multiplying. I go in my savings to create a product, a book, or a course. But I'm creating. And I'm not limiting myself to say, look, okay, I invested X amount of dollars. I ain't going to do anything. I ain't going to do anything until I make that back. That mindset going to keep you stuck. You're never going to succeed with that mindset. I'm not saying, hey, and this is the thing, everybody have a sob story. I could sit here and cry right now about my story. I'm not going to do that. Because I know everything, every eviction, every car repossession, every time my stomach was growling, every time I had to eat ramen noodles or off the dollar menu at Wendy's or Taco Bell, every time I had to do that, it was for my good. It was growing me, it was training me, it was teaching me, it was building me, it was preparing me. See, you can't appreciate the good if you ain't never had the bad. You can't appreciate abundance if you don't know what it's like to have scarcity. See, you got to shift your mindset. I'm not going around and saying it's people that's got high ticket items. It's people that's selling courses for $5,000 and $10,000. I got the money or the credit card to go and get those products. But I'm not going to say, look, this dude right here make $5 million a month. I'm going to go pay $10,000 for his course, get all the information, and then I'm going to call the bank and say that was a fraudulent charge. Because I never made a charge with him before, I could call the bank and say that was a fraudulent charge. I'm not going to sign up for something. I see this one happen too. People sign up for an annual thing, and because they forget that they signed up for it and they drop the ball, they get charged on the renewal and then call the bank and say that was fraudulent. I ain't do that. I ain't never seen that before. I ain't never seen that site. I don't know what that site is. I don't even know who that is. That's low integrity. That's coming back to you. That's low integrity. That's a scarcity mindset. It's not accepting responsibility. What I do when I get charged like that, what I do is I go and I cancel it. I say, okay, that's a lesson. That's a lesson on time management. That's a lesson on managing my finances. I just paid for a lesson. I just paid for a lesson because I need to, I think of Brian Tracy that say, inspect what you expect. I ain't expect to get that charge. I should have inspected all my subscriptions. That's on me. They business could have that. But I'm finna call in and cancel it today. That's what I do. That's what I do. I don't call the bank and say that was fraudulent. Give me the money back. No, that's on me. When I used to get in trouble when I was little, I go get the belt for my daddy. When my daddy got to whoop me, I stand right there, take every lick from that belt. He put me across his thigh, hit me with that paddle. I take them licks. I used to have to open up my hand, pop me in the hand with that plastic cone. Kind of was a heavy plastic, so it just sting. I hold that hand out there. My sister, she used to scream bloody murder. You'll think somebody was in there ripping a limb from limb. She used to take off through the house running all over them. Guess what? That small difference showed up in our adult life. It showed up in our success. My success totally different than hers. And she learning now. I teach her. I'm real with her. I'm hard on her. I'm hard with her. I teach her a hard lesson because I had to be hard on myself. For me to build a 7-figure brand, I had to be hard on myself. But not just being hard on myself, I had to have integrity. I had to have dignity. I had to be honest. I had to be hard working. See, you have to change your mindset if you want to succeed. And you can't allow Willie Lynch and Jim Crow mentality that was placed on you, that broke mentality, that slave mentality, slave to that job, that you can't see the freedom. You don't even want freedom. You don't even want to invest in your own plot of land, meaning your own book or course or company, because you a slave to a job. And so you got to understand. Y'all got to forgive my mess in here now. Got my little internet router, got my other hat, I got my wardrobe in here now. And you got to understand that right there, that competing, that crab in a barrel, because we got crab in a barrel syndrome. So the guy who took my life coaching course and then called his bank and say that was fraud, he want to do what I'm doing. But instead of sowing a seed in what I'm doing, he tried to come steal a harvest. So guess what? I don't even have to worry about that. I was going to send him an email because he got his email set up at something such and such university at gmail.com. So he want to create, just like I got Gaskin University and Tony Gaskin Academy, that's what his email is set up as. That's what he want to create. But he trying to defraud my company. I was going to send him an email and say, listen, you banned from all of my stuff. You banned from every course. You banned from my mentor.life. If he on my mentor.life, I'm going to take him off of there because I don't want that energy. I don't want that energy in any of my companies. But let me tell you what's going to happen. I ain't sending the email because I already know it's going to come back. I already know vengeance is mine, said the Lord. I already know it ain't about God doing something to him because of what he tried to do to me. It ain't about that. This universal law. See, God done set the universe in motion. That's why the Bible say that he reign on the just as well as the unjust. Because the universe already set in motion. What you put into the world, that's what's coming back to you. So you can't think that you can go and defraud another small business and then build big business and not pay a price. No. You're going to build your business and then people going to come and defraud your business. So this is what happens when somebody defrauds your business. They sign up for a course. they call the bank and they lie and say, I ain't signed up for that course. The bank get them their money back because the bank gonna make money off of them by having that checking account, by doing overdraft fees. So the bank want to protect them because the bank gonna make a whole lot more money off of them by protecting them and keeping them as a client. If the bank say, you up the creek without a paddle, sorry about your luck, the bank know that they gonna close that bank account, and because that money gonna be withdrawn and now they're gonna have to pay it back. The bank know they're gonna close that bank account. The bank know that a lot of people, especially people who come from scarcity, who come from nothing, don't care about collections, don't care about bad credit. And so the bank just gonna lose, so the bank gonna protect them. But the bank gonna hit them back on them overdraft fees in the future, account fees, using any money that's in that checking account to put on the market. That's how the bank make money. Your money not sitting there, that's just numbers. Your money is working for the bank. Your money ain't just sitting there. It's working for that bank. And so the bank, they gonna protect. But then what's gonna happen is when the bank take that money back from my company, the payment processor, PayPal or Stripe, they take and charge my company $15. Stripe charged me $15 for something that I did not do, something that I had nothing to do with. PayPal charged me $20 for something that I did not do, something that I had nothing to do with. So now, not only does my company lose the money that was paid to us, not only does somebody have my intellectual property that is priceless, but on top of them lying, I have to pay a $20 fee. So if 100 people do that a month, that's $2,000 a month. But you know what? I can't even worry about it because I know God got me. I know God got me. So I'm covered. When that happened to me, I get blessed on top of blessings. I get blessed on top of blessings because God knows my heart and he knows what I'm trying to do. He knows I'm trying to help other people help themselves. So when the devil sends somebody with a scarcity mindset, with a scamming mindset to defraud me, I already know because I done been there. I done been a criminal. I done been a drug dealer. I done been a thief. I done been a criminal. I know what come to you when you defrauding, when you got a scarcity mindset, when you got a limited mindset, when you don't want to do things honest, when you don't want to invest in yourself and believe in yourself. I already know what's coming. I done had to pay them prices. I wouldn't wish that on nobody, but I already know it's coming because that's universal law. What go around, come around. You done heard that a million times. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. That's for the just and the unjust. They ain't just for Christians. They ain't just for people who read the Bible. In Hindu, I believe they call it karma. Karma is a religious belief, but that's what they call it over there. In the Bible is you reap what you sow. You see what I mean? In the world, it's what goes around comes around. That's universal law. So see, what you also have to understand is seed time and harvest. So now you could break that seed time, meaning it's time for the seed, meaning this is seed time where you plant the seed, or you could break it up in seed time and harvest. So the other universal law you got to realize is that you have a seed that you plant. Then you have to give it time. And then you reap your harvest. So before I earned $1 million in a year, I had to give it time. I didn't invest in myself in 2007 and then make $1 million in 2008. So now from the time that I started actually making enough money I could live off of, it was less than 10 years. But from the time that, from 2007, it took me a decade plus before I touched $1 million in a year. Now I could combine 2 years together and say, oh, I earned $1 million. But that's all before taxes. That's all before expenses. So you ain't wealthy. You see what I'm saying? But it took time. But the return was not equal to the investment. See, when you put that seed in the ground, you don't produce a seed, one seed on top of the soil. What you gonna do with that seed? Nothing. So what does that seed produce? That produces a plant, a tree. That tree will feed you for life. It's growing them apples for life, them mangoes for life, them grapefruits for life. That seed then feeds you for life. See, metaphorically speaking, this is what you got to understand in life. That when you take and you sow a seed in yourself, and then you go and dig it up with fraud or with a scarcity mindset, limited mindset, you dig it up, you take it back out of the ground. You know what? I'm going to get my seed back. I'm going to hold on to my seed. I'm going to just hold on to my seed. I'm going to do it the seed. But this seed so pretty. I'm just, yeah, I just love the seed. You know, I'm just, next thing you know, you losing weight. When you ain't got nothing to eat. You don't want to eat that seed because it's too hard. It ain't got no flavor. It ain't got no nutrients in it like that. But when you put that seed and then you water that seed and it gets some time and it gets some sunlight, that harvest that it brings. So see, you holding your seed and then you see somebody else over here with a potato, growing potatoes out the ground, growing tomatoes out the ground, growing cabbage and spinach and collard greens out the ground. And you sitting over there like, well, I got my tomato seed right here. I'm starving. And they over there, they got their little vinegar, they got their tomato, got their salt and pepper. And you over there, hey, can you spare some of those tomatoes? They might give you a tomato so you can eat that day, but they can't feed you for life because they got to take care of their family. So what they trying to tell you is, listen, you got the tomato seeds. Put the seeds in the ground. Oh, I put it in the ground, but when I went out there the next day, it wasn't nothing there. So they looking at you like, so you expected the tomato to be there the next day? That's not how it works. You got to sow the seed, but it's going to take time. And while it's taking time, you watering the seed. You protecting the seed. You put a hedge around that seed. You put something up. You put it up. You guard it. You protect it from the animals, from the parasites, from the birds. You do what you got to do with that seed. And you making sure it get water. You making sure it gets sunlight. But then it's going to reap a harvest. It's going to bring a harvest that can feed you. And that harvest that it brings going to have more seeds. So that harvest that it brings, now you plant again. And it repeats itself. Not one harvest going to feed you forever. Now, unless you growing a tree with some fruit on it. But it could be a tornado come and knock that tree down. Now, guess what? You got to have a seed from that fruit to plant again. That's how life works. Seed time and harvest. It's going to take time. It's going to be a grind. You're going to have to invest in yourself. You're going to have to double down. You're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have integrity. You're going to have to go without. Okay, no cable. Okay, no stars. I know you want to watch Power, but that $15 a month could be put elsewhere right now. That $15 a month could be paying for your hosting for your website where people coming to buy your book or to book you for coaching. That $15 a month that you paying for stars, that you paying for HBO or Cinemax, or for your fraudulent Fire Stick that somebody hooked up fraudulently, that you paying $30 a month for to get all the channels and all the pay-per-view events free. That $30 a month that you paying fraudulently is going to block your blessings. Because you could be without that $30 and that $30 could be in your website. That $30 could be in your brand. That $30 could be in your quote cards that you going on Fiverr.com to have made for your Instagram. That $30 a month could be creating your quote card for your Instagram. And now your Instagram is bringing book sales, is bringing coaching clients, It's bringing new supporters, whatever you want to call them, and tribe members. That $30 a month that you spend on that fraudulent fire stick. You see what I'm saying? See, you gonna get out what you put in. But see, what you get out gonna be greater than what you put in, because it's gonna come back with compound interest if you invested it on good ground. And so I pray over the people, my true supporters. I pray over them. And I already know what's gonna come to them just because of how the world works. But I just pray just to add to it, just so God anointing is on it, so God blessing is on it, so that they got another person praying for them. It's a young lady. God bless you, Shay. I don't know if you're gonna see the video. It's a young lady. She send me a seed through Cash App every week. Every single week. And every time she do it, I pray on her. Lord bless her. Lord bless her. I don't know what she going through. I don't talk to her. I don't know what she going through. I don't know if she getting blessings. I don't know if the devil attacking her more. I don't know. But I'm praying for her. I'm praying for her because I see where her heart is at. She ain't trying to holler at me. She married. I'm married. We don't talk on the phone. None of that. And she invested a long time ago in the Birth Your Book course and produce her book. Years ago, when I first started out, she did that. And guess what? I already know she gonna be blessed. Cause it ain't about me. It ain't my soil that's good. It's God's law. It's God's promise that is good. It ain't about Tony Gaskins. You could go invest in John Doe, Joe Blow, Joe Schmo, Jane Doe. You could go invest anywhere that somebody got something that you need. If it's a course, if it's a book, if it's a video, whatever it may be, you're going to reap a harvest. The person may actually be bad ground, but God not going to punish you for somebody else doing. God going to honor what you doing. So when I give to the person on the street corner, that's between me and God. I'm not giving to that person. I'm giving to God. God going to honor my heart. If they go and buy a hit of that cocaine with that $5 or that dollar that I gave them, that's between them and God. So I don't withhold what God has blessed me to do, because I'm judging them based on what they may go do with it. That's between them and God. I got to answer to God for myself, because that could be an angel unaware. The Bible says you could be entertaining angels unaware. So I'm not going to judge the ground. I'm going to listen to the spirit of what I'm being told. So some of these seeds, it's nothing coming directly back from that person. And then some seeds I'm sowing into a book or into a course or into a seminar, and I'm going to get something back directly, but it's also going to be pressed down, shaken together, and running over, and it's going to come with a harvest that will continue to give. So, hey, I ain't mean to talk this long, but I'm passionate about this, because one thing that I hate to see people do is cheat themselves. Because I'm living the dream. I'm living a blessed life. And I want you to understand that I was a scam artist. I was a thief. I was a drug dealer. I was taking shortcuts. It availed to nothing. It produced nothing. But when I changed my mindset and I started moving with integrity, I started moving honestly, I started investing in me real, righteously, legally. That's when my life changed. Change your mindset. Stop thinking with a scarcity mindset. Stop counting the dollars you investing in you, because you're not going to be able to count the return that's going to come. But if you can count the dollars, if you keeping track of the dollars you investing in you, you're going to be able to keep track of every dollar and every blessing that's going to come, return that's going to come to you. You know why? Because it ain't going to have no compound interest. It ain't going to come with that, because you're doing it from the wrong place, with the wrong heart, with the wrong intentions. You got to fix you. You can't do what I do and get the blessings that I get or the blessing that I have if your heart is not where my heart is at. See, if your actions, if your motives is not where my actions and my motives at, you're not going to have the same type of success that you see this other person with if you don't have the ingredients. If you ain't got the intangibles, you create your own blueprint, but the intangibles got to be the same. Integrity. You got to have integrity. Abundant mindset. You got to have an abundant mindset. Faith, belief. You got to have those things. Those things are non-negotiable. Those things are intangibles that you have to have in order to have real success. And if you ain't got that, you ain't going to get what you set out to get. Now, I probably missed my wire delivery. Talking loud in here. But God bless you. I just wanted to drop that on you. Y'all forgive me for having to part. But I speak from the heart on here. I ain't no robot. I might get time later to still do my Grown Boy Universal, or it might go up tomorrow if I got another video for it. But I just appreciate you. If you got to this place in this video, God bless you. You really doing the work. You really taking yourself serious. If I stepped on your toes, that means you walking out of line. Get in line. Truth only step on your toes when you walking out of line. And if it feel like I'm talking to you about the emails about what you did, you ain't the only one. So I am talking to you, but I might not be talking. I might not be using you as the exact example. It might just be more people that did the same thing you did. So understand that. Don't take it personal. Get mad, scratch your booty, get glad. Get out, get sideways out your mouth, get blocked. So, hey, this Tony Gaston, God bless you. Look, I want everybody to win. I want everybody to succeed. But success, as the quote says, I don't know who quote it is, success leaves footprints. Success leaves footprints. Success leaves a blueprint. You ain't going to have real success if you don't have integrity. You ain't going to have real success if you got a scarcity mindset. So understand that. Fix you. Work on you. Invest in you. And when you do that, support people who doing what you want to do. If you want to be a chef, hire a chef to come and cook a meal for you so you could see what they do right and what they do wrong, what you could do better. Don't just think you finna go be Gordon Ramsay and you ain't made no investment. Invest in you and do it with a glad heart, with a good heart, from the right place, with integrity, with honesty, with dignity. And you gonna reap what you have sown. Hey, this is Tony Gaston. God bless you. We'll talk soon.